Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am incredibly excited to be walking you through this material. Today, we're really getting into the weeds on Cisco Secure Workload, or CSW for short, and we're going to peel back the layers on a concept that is fundamentally changing how we secure our data centers. That concept is micro-segmentation. So if you've ever wondered how modern security actually stops threats from spreading once they are already inside the walls, well, you are in the exact right place. So let's kick things off with a pretty uncomfortable question. What actually happens after an attacker breaches your network? I mean, for decades, our industry poured almost all of its resources into perimeter defense, right? We built higher walls, we built thicker gates, but this explainer isn't about the perimeter at all. It's about the terrifying reality of what happens when that attacker is already inside. Whether they got in through a phishing link, an exposed admin port, or a stolen credential, what is actually stopping them from moving freely around your systems? Often, the honest answer is not much at all. Okay, here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the lateral movement problem, introduce Cisco Secure Workload, and see exactly how it shuts down ransomware. After that, we'll break down the 5-stage CSW pipeline, and finally wrap things up with a realistic, phased adoption roadmap. All right, Section 1. The lateral movement problem, and specifically, the huge danger of flat networks. You see, most data center networks are what we call flat at the workload layer. Think of a flat network kind of like a massive office building. The front door, totally locked down, secure. But once someone steals a key and gets inside that lobby, that single master key suddenly opens every single interior door in the building. A compromised server can easily just reach out and touch hundreds of other servers, file shares, and databases. We call the resulting damage from this the blast radius. Now, a micro-segmented network, on the other hand, essentially changes the locks on every single interior door. To really grasp why this is so critical, let's look at the classic predictable attack pattern. An attacker lands on one workload, maybe through a supply chain vulnerability. Next, they look around. They discover the internal network and steal credentials using tools like Mimikatz. Then they move laterally, using standard protocols like RDP or SMB. They escalate their privileges to hit high-value targets like domain controllers, and boom, finally, they stage their ransomware payload. But notice something absolutely crucial here. Steps 2 through 5, they depend entirely on the network just allowing workload-to-workload traffic by default. And the hard truth is, literally no business application actually requires this kind of widespread free-flowing access. Let's move to Section 2. Enter Cisco Secure Workload. This is where we shift from that alarming problem to the empowering solution of shrinking that blast radius. Now, the source material defines micro-segmentation as way more than just a fancy firewall. It's a highly intelligent approach. It is the process of limiting each workload to only the communication it actually needs, based on real observed application behavior. That is a massive distinction right there. CSW doesn't just sit around guessing what traffic to block. It actually discovers how your applications communicate in the real world, turns that into a label-based policy, and lets you enforce least privilege access without breaking your apps. And the result of that intelligent policy? The number 1. Just 1. That is the exact number of workloads an attacker can access after a successful initial breach when CSW is properly deployed. Because CSW intervenes right before that lateral movement step we just talked about. An attacker might land on one host, but when they look around, the network is completely empty to them. They hit a brick wall. They cannot reach the next host. The blast radius is literally shrunk down to a single workload. Section 3. Stopping ransomware by cutting off the pathways. Let's dig into the specific mechanics of how this neutralizes a ransomware threat. Ransomware operators make their money through speed. They need to encrypt as many systems as possible in a very short time window. And to do that, they desperately depend on specific conditions: unrestricted file share access, open RDP paths, and reachable backup servers. Well, notice how CSW systematically blocks every single one of those preconditions. For SMB or RDP fanout, CSW simply denies lateral admin protocols by default. For mass file encryption, it restricts file server access to only the specific workloads and processes that actually genuinely need it. And it completely isolates backup servers, so they are only permitted to talk to backup agents. No pathways, no ransomware spread. All right, on to Section 4, the 5-stage CSW pipeline. See, analyze, enforce. We know what it does, so let's look at how the platform practically operates under the hood. The entire platform runs on a single, brilliantly repeatable pipeline. Step 1 is visibility. Software agents stream every flow across your VMs, your containers, and the cloud. Step 2 is context. Workloads get labeled using systems of record like your CMDB. This means your policies are written in human terms, not just confusing IP addresses. Step 3 is discovery, where machine learning auto-discovers your application dependencies. Step 4 is analysis, and honestly, this one is a real game changer. You actually simulate the policy against live traffic first, guaranteeing you won't accidentally break the application when you go live. And finally, Step 5, enforcement, where that one unified policy is pushed absolutely everywhere.
Which perfectly sets up Section 5, the phased adoption roadmap, a pragmatic journey. Because let's be totally honest, the idea of micro-segmentation is famously intimidating, but it really doesn't have to be.
The source outlines this beautiful step-by-step journey designed to give you incremental wins. You're not doing this overnight. Weeks 0 to 2 is Phase 1, visibility, just seeing what you actually have. Weeks 2 through 4 is Phase 2, macro-segmentation, putting broad zone policies in place. Weeks 4 to 12 is Phase 3, true app scope micro-segmentation, using that dependency mapping we just discussed. And from week 8 onwards, you enter continuous operations with Phase 4, which is vulnerability-driven risk reduction, and Phase 5 for deep forensics and anomaly detection. Now, here is the crucial takeaway from this timeline. You do not need to wait until Phase 5 to see a massive return on your investment. If you simply finish Phase 2, you have already achieved the biggest blast radius reduction for the lowest possible effort. By just denying lateral admin protocols early on and separating production from non-production, you've successfully cut off the fan-out paths that ransomware absolutely relies on. You get a huge win very early in the process. But we know applications change, right? You've got new services spinning up, cloud migrations, emergency patches. Your environment is never, ever static. And because of this, CSW is fundamentally built to adapt continuously. Through continuous visibility and drift detection via CMDB sync, it constantly monitors change and simulates how new policies will react. This ensures that as your environment evolves over time, your security adapts automatically right alongside it, without ever breaking your production apps. The documentation sums up this entire mindset perfectly with this quote: "You are not buying a static rule set. You are standing up a program." This completely reframes how we need to think about microsegmentation. It is not a one-and-done IT project that you finish on a Friday and put on a shelf. It is a living, breathing operational discipline that keeps your least privilege policies perfectly synced to the applications you are actively trying to protect. So I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to chew on. Look at your own network today. Be totally, completely honest with yourself. If a single workload is compromised today, right this very second, how far can the attacker reach? If your answer is everywhere, then it might be time to start thinking seriously about shrinking that blast radius. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this helped illuminate the incredible power of microsegmentation. Keep learning, keep exploring, and stay secure out there.